that has been done in a very strong manner. I don't agree with that. I'm not talking about detention centers. I have very, very good relationships with a lot of people, a lot of Hispanic people. We're talking about it. We're going to get rid of the bad ones. The bad ones are going to be out of here fast. And you know there are plenty of bad ones. Gang leaders.
Sure,
you
absolutely.
Look at Los Angeles, you see what's happening.
Right.
They're going out fast. They're going to be out of here so fast your head will spin. As far as the rest, we're going to go through the process like they are now, perhaps with a lot more energy, and we're going to do it only through the system of laws.
Okay, good. Now I want to play you.
And by the way, Bill, that are in existence.
I know. I mean, they haven't enforced immigration law since Ronald Reagan in this country. Everybody knows that. Now let's turn to violent crime. I want to play a short soundbite of what you said recently. Go.
The chaos and violence on our streets and the assault on law enforcement are really and truly an attack against all peaceful citizens. If I'm elected president, this chaos and violence will end. And it will end very, very quickly.
So, how? You have in Chicago a problem. Did you know that murders in Chicago are up 50% this year from last year?
I know it. I know it very well.
And they can't solve it. They can't solve it. State of Illinois, City of Chicago can't do it.
Well, you know why they can't solve it? Because I don't think they have the right people in charge.
So, all right. So specifically, how do you do it? How do you do it?
I know police in Chicago. If they were given the authority to do it, they would get it done.
How?
You have unbelievable. How? By being very much tougher than they are right now. They're right now not tough. I mean, I could tell you this very long and quite boring story. But when I was in Chicago, I got to meet a couple of very top police. I said, how do you stop this? How do you stop this? If you were put in charge to a specific person, do you think you could stop it? He said, Mr. Trump, I'd be able to stop it in 1 week. And I believed him 100%.
How? Did he tell you how he would be able to stop it in 1 week?
No, he wants to use tough police tactics.
Would you have a warrant to arrest people?
Killed.
Can't beat them up. You have to have a warrant to arrest them. You have to have...
All I know is this. I went to a top police officer in Chicago who is not the police chief, and I could see by the way he was dealing with his people, he was a rough, tough guy. They respected him greatly. I said, how do you think you do it? He said, Mr. Trump, within 1 week, we could stop much of this.
But he didn't tell you exactly precisely how, because that's
No, and I didn't ask him because I'm not the mayor of Chicago. But I tell you what, I sent his name in and I said, you probably should hire this guy because you know the expression, you have nothing to lose? Look at what's going on in Chicago. It's horrible. This guy felt totally confident that he could stop it in a very short period of time.
So
it's
nationwide,
a little bit like we could win the war a lot quicker if we'd let our generals do the job properly. This was a man
But you have to have a strategy, though. What I'm trying to get is you have to have a strategy.
I'm sure he's got a strategy.
Okay, but you're going to be, if you're president, you're going to have your strategy. So let's just take a very micro issue. Attacks on police, all right? So they're rising because they're being, police officers in some places are being demonized, and now unstable people are saying.
People are being coddled.
Okay.
People are being coddled.
So you're president. How are you going to stop attacks on police in the present climate?
Well, first of all, we need somebody that's going to be a cheerleader for the police to an extent. Right now, I just left the Akron police and some other people, and they are terrific people, and they feel like they're being left behind by our leadership. They're not being respected by our leadership, and they literally, they don't have spirit. They lose their spirit. Every time something happens, it's the police's fault. Look,
your tone is pro-police.
You have to have...
Well, how do you stop the bad guys from attacking them?
By giving them back your spirit and by allowing them to go and counterattack. I mean, it's ridiculous what's happening. They're not respecting the police anymore, and the police are afraid to do anything. I've spoken to so many police. I mean, I've gotten to know them. I have endorsements from, like, almost everybody in terms of police and law enforcement. And I've spoken to so many, and they're afraid to do anything because they don't want to lose their job.
Whose island? Our island. Whose community? Our community. Whose community? Our community. Whose island? Our island. Whose community? Our community. Whose country? Our country.
Aquí me encuentro en el punto exacto donde hace casi 8 años falleció víctima de un crimen de odio Marcelo Lucero, y precisamente estamos aquí hoy porque Donald Trump, 14 de abril, se está presentando aquí en este sitio, a unos pocos pasos del lugar donde fue un crimen de odio. Vamos a ver qué pasa en los próximos minutos, en las próximas horas, en la visita de Donald Trump aquí a Pacho.
We are home. Oh, do I love Long Island, but we are finally home. We are going to start using them big league. And by the way, we don't want to ever forget, we're going to have strong borders. We're going to have a wall. The wall's going to be built. You, of course, know who's paying for the wall, right? Who's paying? We're going to stop the drugs from pouring into our country and poisoning our youth. We're going to do so many things. We're going to get rid of Obamacare. We're going to get rid of it fast. It's no good, doesn't work.
Este es el peor momento, es uno de los peores días que me regresa al pasado, hace casi más o menos 7 años atrás, cuando mi hermano fue asesinado. Es muy lamentable pasar por lo mismo, ¿no? Porque creo que es como tirarle esa herida que estaba sanándose poco a poco, nuevamente se abre, ¿no? ¿Por qué? Porque estamos hablando de una persona que yo creo que en muchos lugares no está bienvenida, pero está siendo bienvenida aquí a Pacho.
Pues definitivamente me parece una provocación, es una manera de casi abofetearnos, ¿no? De venir al mismo lugar donde hay tanto dolor, donde ha sido un lugar de tanta controversia.
Aquí en Pacho, unos 8 años atrás, pasó una tragedia que transformó a esta comunidad, y ellos por los últimos 8 años han tratado de buscar la manera en que haya un entendimiento entre diferentes comunidades, y ahora pasa esto. Y tener que venga Trump, que esté a 2 cuadras de donde muere el compañero de nosotros, para nosotros es totalmente irresponsable.
Como organización, como defensores de los inmigrantes, abogando por los inmigrantes, estamos contra el odio, estamos contra el racismo, estamos contra estas ideas que no son verdad, que los inmigrantes tenemos que estar aquí para gritar que los inmigrantes somos fuertes, que ayudamos a la comunidad, contribuimos a la comunidad.
Este es un día de tristeza que no reconozcan el daño que siguen haciendo a nuestra comunidad. Ya después de haber abierto esta herida, una herida tan grave, tan grande, ahora le están echando sal a la herida, nos están pateando otra vez más. Es una falta de respeto, es decirnos que nos tratan peores que a perros de la calle.
Bueno, como organización nos sumamos al llamado de la comunidad hispana en contra del señor Donald Trump, con ese mensaje de odio.
Bueno, es una desgracia moral y pública que esté aquí con esa retórica que hemos vivido aquí en el pueblo de Patchogue, aquí en Long Island. Ese tipo de retórica donde llegó a cobrarle la vida a uno de los nuestros.
Es muy triste, estoy muy en desacuerdo que el dolor que se sembró aquí en Pacho sea ignorado, que la sangre que fue derramada por Marcelo ha sido ignorado. Todos los esfuerzos que Lucero y muchas organizaciones, escuelas, hemos tratado de unir para cambiar ese mensaje, para poder corregir lo que pasó, ahora es simplemente, no importa, es ignorado.
Ahora que traigan a una persona como lo es Donald Trump, una persona que abiertamente se ha demostrado en contra de la comunidad inmigrante, y su mensaje de odio, que lo traigan a hablar acá a pasos de donde ocurrió tan terrible crimen, yo pienso que es algo bien lamentable y que molesta a cualquier persona que esté a favor, que ha trabajado tanto para construir la comunidad y para de cierta manera borrar lo que es el odio acá en Long Island.
Review time, pot!
The reason they fake these shootings is so they can have control of the whole narrative and control of all the little details so that they can get the desired effect and the desired brainwashing over you, and also for you to rebel for the system. Okay, let's look at what's going on here. Fury at secret U.S. policy that banned visa officials from looking at terrorist wife's social media where she openly boasted about jihad. Why? Because the Obama administration feared bad public relations. What's going on right there? Well, it's simple. Now, people who don't understand that first point of the fake shooting part, they might just gloss right over this and do exactly what they want you to do. But people who have that understanding, that backbone of information, you're going to see what this is. What is it? So they're trying to say that this all happened because the visa officials weren't able to look at the terrorist wife social media, her MySpace, her Facebook, her Twitter. They couldn't look at it. Therefore, she got away because of the secret U.S. policy that blocked immigration. So you know what you're supposed to do now? You're supposed to say, well, wait a minute. Why do we have that secret U.S. policy blocking them from investigating that? We shouldn't have that right there. We need to get rid of that. Now, understand, they're the ones who want to get rid of that. But look, they fear the bad public relations because people are going to be like, what about our civil liberties? Well, they want you to say now, hey, man, forget our civil liberties. We need to worry about our safety. I'm scared. As usual, the fear usually blocks out the common sense. So this little move right here is all about control. They just want to be able to look at your Twitter and MySpace and all those type of things. And they want you to approve it and go along with it. The fact that they are doing it in this way, this little deceptive way, lets me know and let everybody else know that they know they are wrong. And this is how they usually do things.
Red Silver J, all I gotta say.
Money going out and the drugs coming in. And I said, we need to build a wall. 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 We need to build a wall.
Okay, we're at the end of the line to get in, although it probably won't be the end of the line by the time we're finished with this interview. Sir, what's your first name?
I'm Bruce.
Bruce, what made you decide to come down to see Donald Trump?
He's the only one that inspired me to come in. Out of all the candidates, he just given me that energy that I've never had before on a candidate.
Now, what town are you from?
I'm Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Plymouth. So you've come up from Massachusetts to see Mr. Trump. What is it about Donald Trump that inspired you that the other candidates, and there's no shortage of candidates between the Republicans and Democrats, what inspired you to drive all the way from Plymouth? Because that's quite a ride.
Truth. He speaks the truth. He's honest, and he puts it right out there, and that's what really inspired me.
Now, it seems to me that Mr. Trump is also driving the issues. Whatever Donald Trump talks about becomes the issues of the day. Is he talking about the issues that you want to hear?
Yes, but I know he's throwing out a lot of stuff that is probably going to be formulated in the future when he comes up for presidency. And I think the issues are right now he's throwing out the barriers to find out how far he can go. And I think a lot of this is strategies that he's knows about.
Now, is Trump have you made a final decision on Trump, or are you still deciding since there's a ways to go?
I'm pretty much, like I said, I've never been inspired by any candidate like this.
And is there a specific thing you're hoping to hear tonight?
No, everything I like. I just love the guy that speaks the truth.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate it.